guys, welcome to a brand new video. Thank you so much for being here. I am sharing some fall yard cleanup as well as planting some spring bulbs for next spring. So if you need a little yard work motivation or inspiration, this video will be for you. I think most people saw an abnormally warm fall season this year, so it was after mid-November when I was out here doing this. It was like almost a high of 70 degrees, so I knew this was the day to get those bulbs planted before the ground freezes. So here's a look at my front porch area. I still have some straggling Halloween decorations up that I'm gonna take care of. And you can see my one spooky friend is still out on the roof enjoying the last remnants of fall. Now, as far as leaves go, we have a pretty big yard with lots of trees, so we pay someone to take care of them. But since I was getting ready to plant the bulbs, I needed to just clear out the front area where I was planting a little bit. So I grabbed my leaf blower and cleaned off the porch and my little front garden area. All right, so first thing I'm doing is doing a little bit of cleanup. So I am just pulling out any of my annuals from last summer. These were petunias up front. Surprisingly, they were still pretty green, no blooms, but they definitely weren't dead. And then I am taking care of my pumpkin planters, which had coleus in them that was looking pretty shabby. There are cat food bowls out on my porch because we had spotted a couple of stray kittens the other night, so we put some food out for them. And then I am just cleaning up my leftover pumpkins from Halloween. They still were not moldy or anything, so you guys, bleach water in a spray bottle. As soon as you get your pumpkins, I think I usually get mine near the end of September, and they last well over a month without getting moldy or eaten by squirrels or anything. All right, so now I am getting ready to plant my bulbs. I decided to do some bulbs lining the walkway to my front door. So what I am doing is just digging kind of a trench on each side of the sidewalk. My soil is very clay-like, which makes it pretty difficult to dig. So this did take me a while and is a good arm workout. My arms were sore the next couple of days, but hopefully it'll be worth it for next spring. I ordered my bulbs online from Longfield Gardens. This is not sponsored or anything. This is just randomly found from a Google search, and I picked up some tulips and hyacinths. I think it's kind of funny how they look like onions. And then I also got some bone meal from Home Depot, which I read was good for bulbs. So I got some pink tulips and a pinky purple mix of hyacinths. If these growing right, I think they're gonna look so beautiful. I love this color palette. So I put some of that bone meal down in my trench and then started putting in my bulbs. Since the tulips are taller, I did those closer to the door towards the back. And I had 20 tulip bulbs, so I did 10 on each side. And then I think I had 50 hyacinth bulbs, so 25 on each side. The hardest part about this for me, I think, was putting the bulbs in so they don't look so contrived. It was very difficult to place them kind of random and not in like a pattern. And as far as I know, you want to make sure they're not spaced too close, but you want to keep them in tight drifts so they're like grouped nicely together. And the directions for these called for about 5 to 6 inches deep. And then I started just putting some of the native soil back on top of the bulbs, and I will mix in some garden soil later. And then moving on to the other side of the walkway, I had a lily turf I needed to relocate, so I dug that up first. And then I am just moving on with digging another trench. You guys, I am a beginning gardener, so any advice or tips or tricks are always welcome in my comment section. I always appreciate constructive feedback, so if you have anything to share, I would love to hear it. The bulbs only ended up going about halfway down the walkway, so I was a little bummed I didn't order more to fill in that space better, but it is what it is. I still think it's gonna look really pretty. I didn't want to spend an arm and a leg. I think I ended up only spending about $50 for all of these bulbs. And then I am adding some bagged garden soil on top of the natural soil and just kind of working those in, making sure everything's patted down. And of course, I made a huge mess on my porch sidewalk area, so I'm giving it another little blow. I was going to pull out my pressure washer, but I was like, I just don't want to deal with that right now. So I just hosed it off with my regular hose, and I think it rained that night too. So here's what it looked like after it was cleaned up a little bit. The day after I did this, we also had our leaf people come and do the entire yard, so now that is all cleaned up as well. My hydrangeas definitely took a little bit of a beating. Next year will be the 3rd year I've had these hydrangeas, and I hope they come in so big and beautiful. I'm so excited to see how those come out. So my biggest concern about these bulbs is that they might not get enough light. However, since they bloom before all the leaves come back on the trees, I'm hoping that they will be able to get enough dappled light. If not, next year I guess I'll have to relocate them, but pretty much all of my yard is shaded, so I really struggle with anything that needs full sunlight. I'm also thinking I should probably put some mulch on this. If you know more than I do, let me know in the comments down below if you think I need to mulch on top of where I just planted the bulbs. And then I am moving on to my planter boxes that I have flanking each side of my garage. I had done a little fall setup, so then I am throwing out the annuals I had in there, which were some petunias and mums. The cabbage were still in pretty fair shape, and then I had these purple fountain grasses, which are perennials, so I found a new home for those. The other day I ran into Home Depot and I saw these baby arborvitae trees. They were only like $7 each, and I could not pass up that deal. So I grabbed 2 of them for these boxes. I had been thinking about putting small shrubs in these planters for a while now. I was pretty stoked to get these for that cheap, so I will leave these in here for the next couple years to grow in, and then my plan is to just plant annuals around them. And then my kale cabbage plants were still in pretty good shape, so I decided not to throw those out and just kind of stick them back in there. Then I did the same thing with the other planter on the other side of the garage. And before I put those little shrubs in there, I pull them out and kind of rough up the root system and shake out some of the dirt. Why? I don't know, but this is what I see all the gardener YouTubers do, so I'm gonna do it too. These arborvitaes came with these little red bows on them, which look kind of corny, but I just left them on there for now. I may switch them out into more fancy or pretty bows for the holidays. And our big guy, Mortimer, is still up from Halloween, and we plan to keep him up for a while since we just love him, and we are gonna do something with him for Christmas, so I'm excited to do that. I truly appreciate you spending your time with me in the garden today. Hit that subscribe button down below if you're not already subscribed, and I'll see you guys in my next video.